The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Chandima Veerakorn. Headlines. It is stressed that the persons who tested positive for the coronavirus should also get the booster dose without delay. Attention has been focused to reduce the waiting time to join GCE A-level classes after completing GCE O-level examination. Health authorities request the parents to protect their kids at home from the coronavirus. The Ministry of Power and Energy says that the government has keen interest in finding additional solutions for the existing power crisis. 5 persons arrested at the BIA over attempt to smuggle foreign currency. North Korea tests biggest missile since 2017. Local stories in detail. Sri Lanka customs officers at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayake have apprehended 5 individuals who were attempting to smuggle large amounts of foreign currency out of the country. The suspects were arrested as a result of a lengthy investigation by the Narcotics Control Unit of the Sri Lanka Customs. A spokesman said that foreign currency valued at around 25 million rupees were found concealed inside a luggage of the arrested suspects, who were preparing to board flight to Dubai yesterday. The foreign currency seized from them include 95,000 US dollars, 18,000 euros and 37,000 Saudi riyals. Sri Lanka Customs is conducting further investigations into the matter. Director of the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital, Consultant Dr. G. Vijaysurya says that it is the responsibility of the parents to protect their kids at home from coronavirus. He added that there are about 50 coronavirus-infected kids taking treatment in the hospital at present. The director emphasizes that measures have been taken to control the spread of the virus for the other wards. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that attention has been focused to reduce the waiting time to join GCE advanced level classes after completion of the GCE ordinary level examination. The exam time period will be amended soon in this regard. The minister also said the GCE advanced level examination this year will be held under the strict health guidelines. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pays his heartiest gratitude for the parties who contributed in making the vaccination process a success. The president made this remark issuing a Twitter message for the first-year anniversary of commencing of the vaccination drive in the country. Sri Lanka completed 1 year for the commencement of vaccination drive yesterday. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with local stories, Secretary to the Sri Lanka Medical Association, Professor Ishan D'Souza, emphasizes that persons who tested positive for the coronavirus should also get the booster dose. All other eligible persons should also get the booster dose after 3 months from the second dose. To conclude the local news, the headlines again. It is stressed that persons who tested positive for the coronavirus should also get the booster dose without delay. Attention has been focused to reduce the waiting time to join GCE A-level classes after completing GCE O-level examination. Health authorities request the parents to protect their kids at home from coronavirus. The Ministry of Power and Energy says that the government has keen interest in finding additional solutions for the existing power crisis. 5 persons arrested at the BIA over attempt to smuggle foreign currency. That ends the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on with the main news story, the Ministry of Power and Energy says that the government has keen interest in finding additional solutions for the existing power crisis. Accordingly, electricity will be purchased from the private electricity companies. The minister says that though the power crisis existed or not, it is important to use power in a responsible manner. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, Department of Examinations said candidates who have not received their GCE advanced level examination admission card yet can download it via www.doenets.lk/exam. The department said admission cards for school candidates have been sent to the relevant schools, while the admission forms of private candidates have been posted to the applicants' private addresses. That ends Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news. North Korea tests biggest missile since 2017. US woman held for leading female IS group. Prime Minister weighs a bigger troop offer to Ukraine amid Russia border crisis. North Korea has conducted what is thought to be its biggest missile launch since 2017. South Korea reported that the launch took place at 7:52 local time this morning off North Korea's east coast. Japan, South Korea and the US have all condemned the launch, the seventh test this month. The UN prohibits North Korea from ballistic and nuclear weapons tests and has imposed strict sanctions. But the East Asian state regularly defies the ban, and leader Kim Jong-un has vowed to bolster his country's defenses. South Korea's National Security Council said Sunday's test was an intermediate-range ballistic missile, which would be the biggest missile tested since November 2017. Japanese and South Korean officials estimated that the missile reached an altitude of 2,000 kilometers and flew for 30 minutes to a distance of 800 kilometers. It landed in the Sea of Japan. An American woman has been arrested and charged with organizing and leading an all-female battalion of the Islamic State group. Alison Fluke Ekren, a mother who once lived in Kansas, allegedly trained women and children to use AK-47 assault rifles and suicide vests in Syria. She is also suspected of recruiting operatives for the potential future attack on a U.S. college campus. Ms. Fluke Ekren could face up to 20 years in prison if convicted. Details of the complaint were given in an FBI affidavit from 2019, which was released on Saturday after she was returned to the US to face charges. The UK is considering offering to double its number of troops deployed in Eastern Europe as ministers weigh up options to increase pressure on Russia amid heightened tensions over Ukraine. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the possible deployment would send a clear message to the Kremlin. The defense and foreign secretaries are preparing to meet their counterparts in Moscow to encourage de-escalation. Mr. Johnson will phone Russian President Vladimir Putin in the coming days. The Prime Minister, who will also visit Eastern Europe this week, said the UK would not tolerate Russian destabilizing activity and will always stand with our NATO allies. He added, if President Putin chooses a path of bloodshed and destruction, it will be a tragedy for Europe. Ukraine must be free to choose its own future. To end the world news, the headlines again. North Korea tests biggest missile since 2017. US woman held for leading female IS group. Prime Minister weighs up bigger troop offer to Ukraine amid Russia border crisis. That ends the world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
And on development news, Minister Nimal Siripala De Silva says that discussions are being held with several parties to set up a pension scheme for the private sector employees. There are more than 3.5 million private sector employees in the country. Discussions are being held with representatives of the World Bank and International Labour Organization in this regard. That ends the development news.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Taking a look at sports news, it's American football, tennis. And in American football, Tom Brady, one of the greatest players in NFL history, is expected to retire. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback, 44, has won 7 Super Bowls in an astonishing career spanning 22 seasons. It was widely reported on Saturday evening that he had decided to retire, but his company, TB12 Sports, then deleted a tweet confirming the news. And in tennis news, Rafael Nadal will aim to win a record 21st Grand Slam title when he meets Russian second seed Daniil Medvedev in the Australian Open final on Sunday. The Spaniard, 35, is level on 20 major titles with Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer, who both missed the slam. US Open champion Medvedev, 25, is bidding to become the first man in the Opera era to win his first 2 major at successive Grand Slams. World 100-meter champion Christian Coleman won on his first short sprint appearance since an 18-month ban for missing 3 drugs tests. World 200-meter champion Noah Lyles and Trevon Bromell, the fastest man over 100 meters in 2021, were also in the field in the 60-meter at the Millrose Games. Coleman won in a time of 6.49 seconds in New York. Bromell finished second in 6.50, with Lyles fourth in 6.62. That ends the sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Apple sales soared in the key Christmas shopping season despite constraints due to a global shortage of microchips. Sales at the iPhone giant rose 11% to a record $123.9 billion in the October to December period, beating forecasts. Shares jumped more than 4% in after-hours trade as the report suggested the firm's pandemic boom is continuing. Apple has seen purchases skyrocket during the pandemic as people spend more time online. The firm's market value briefly hit the $3 trillion milestone in early January, though its share price has slipped more recently amid weeks of market turmoil. That ends business news.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
And on economic news, the National Savings Bank says it will add another 2 rupees and give 12 rupees under the program to provide an additional 10 rupees to each dollar of foreign remittances. She said apart from that, persons who send $100 or more weekly to the bank are offered a prize of 100,000 rupees following a draw. It will take place until the end of this month. That ends economic news.
The Weather Report.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. A few showers will occur at northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in Matale and Nuwara Eliya districts. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in Sabaragamuwa province and Kalutara, Gaul and Mathura districts during the evening or at night. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. It is stressed that the persons who tested positive for the coronavirus should also get the booster dose without delay. Attention has been focused to reduce the waiting time to join GCE A-level classes after completing GCE O-level examination. Health authorities request the parents to protect their kids at home from coronavirus. The Ministry of Power and Energy says that the government has keen interest in finding additional solutions for the existing power crisis. 5 persons arrested at the BIA over attempt to smuggle foreign currency. North Korea tests biggest missile since 2017. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.